Sergeant John Kriesel took his first steps exactly 100 days after losing his legs to a roadside bomb.
It is a huge accomplishment, but there are still many goals for the 25-year-old soldier to achieve. The recovery, both physical and mental, is just beginning.
Get it, Kriesel!
It is fairly easy to gauge Sergeant John Kriesel's physical progress. You can measure it in steps.
I'm past the part of just kind of where I'm like, I can't believe that that my legs are gone. So now I just think these things are cool.
In fact, there's really only one way to get him to stop stepping.
They have my legs locked up in a room so I can't, sneak down there at night and, maybe go for a run.
It's much tougher to measure how quickly his mind is healing.
That's the toughest part, is the mental part. Still having to deal with not even the loss of my legs, but the loss of my friends.
Kriesel thinks often of the blast that killed his fellow soldiers.
There are certain things, maybe I'll be watching TV and something will remind me of, being, on the road, laying there, and and then I'll start thinking about it, and I'll try and get it out of my head. And it seems like the harder I try to get it out of my head, the more it stays in and the worse it becomes. And then I'll feel like I'm there sometimes.
He even had a nightmare about the blast once, but did not tell his wife.
I feel like I already burned her enough, and so I don't want to. I feel like if I tell her that's going to ruin her day too, and I don't want to do that.
He won't make that mistake again.
Now I tell her because she can make me feel better, That's what she's here for, and so, and I appreciate it.
Despite the mental and physical wounds, Kriesel would go back to Iraq if he could. And recently, one of his relatives did. With Sergeant Kriesel's unit still in Iraq, an additional 300 Minnesota Guardsmen with an assault helicopter battalion left for Iraq in April.
I challenge you to continue to seek excellence.
Katie's parents were in the audience of the send-off ceremony because Katie's brother was in the sea of soldiers getting ready to leave.
I was on the end, like, they're back.
Staff Sergeant Rob Glazebrook went to Iraq during the first Gulf War, but in the wake of what happened to Sergeant Kriesel,
it was very hard. I don't want to lose another child.
this send-off is different.
I prefer him not to go. But I know he has to, and just hope he gets over and gets back safe. Everybody gets back safe.
I want to support Rob. I want him to pay attention and stay focused and do his job and come back. I want those 16 months to go by fast so we can have all our kids back.
While one child might be leaving, another is about to come home.
Did you see how far they flew?
Yeah.
Elijah and Broden are measuring the distance from Washington
And Brody, where are we now?
to Flying Cloud Airport here in Minnesota.
Welcome home, Mom and Dad. Welcome home, Mom and Dad.
They even made a song for a moment months in the making.
Some days it seems like yesterday, and some days it seems like an eternity.
For the first time since losing his leg, Sergeant Kriesel is touching down on Minnesota soil.
They brought Mom and Dad home.
Flying home is exciting enough,
Here he comes!
but actually walking off the plane is even more memorable.
Boy, have you mastered those.
No walker, no parallel bars.
You guys gotta be first for Dad's hugs.
Hey, buddy.
Woo! Just don't knock him over.
Just a chance for two sons to do something most kids take for granted. To Sergeant Kriesel, coming home is the biggest step yet.
I think once I actually get out and see more Minnesota license plates and I don't get cut off by everybody on the road, then I'll realize that I'm in Minnesota.
He'll return to Washington in a couple weeks to continue his therapy, but for now there's plenty to do.
I can see everybody and personally thank all the people that have given me the support. I can't do enough to say thank you. When we get 20 cards in the mail a day, and 5 are from people we know, and 15 are from, people I've never met, saying thank you.
Acts of kindness surround Sergeant Kriesel, including the private plane ride home. It was donated by Polaris Industries through Veterans Airlift Command, an organization that unites wounded military members with their families. For this family, all the attention is still a bit overwhelming.
Then you look, and there's people way worse than me. There's people that are missing 2 legs and an arm. And so you have a lot to be thankful for, you realize, you know.
Some might think a part of Sergeant Kriesel's life ended December 2nd. It is quite clear. Life for this family is just beginning.
Coming up, that new beginning starts to take shape during a non-stop visit to Minnesota.
I just have to deal with it minute by minute right now, otherwise I'll pass out or something.
Sergeant Kriesel throws out the first pitch at a baseball game, then dresses up for a huge benefit to help his family.
Life is good.